I will say a big thank you. Yeah, and I'm happy to connect. The kind of initiatives you're doing are very, very impressive, very student focused. I know you had to put in a lot of efforts, but of course, we had a lot of challenges on schedule, but we are here, happy. Yeah, I think it's
Yes.
like I would like to hear more and more. I will say a big thank you. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Over to you, Priyanshi.
Hello and a very good evening to one and all present here. I welcome you all on behalf of our BRATS team. My name is Priyanshi Jain, currently pursuing my final year of MBA from SIRT Bhopal. Talking about BRATS, BRATS is an independent organization which is helping in bridging the gap between the campus to corporates. It also provides a real-time experience in the fields of management and engineering. BRATS works independent of any educational institutions. Let's have a glimpse over the message given by our Captain BRATS.
India is the India is the largest demographic education hub. Still, there are about 4 lakhs of students going abroad for higher education year on year. But one side, if I'm seeing, a lot of Indians are actually leading global corporates. That's the beauty of Indian talent, which needs to be pulled out. BRATS. Now, BRATS, what is BRATS? Everybody's hearing, you need to know what is BRATS. BRATS is Brands, Research, Advertising, Technology, and Strategies. What we are actually trying to do out here. So our last 3 years research developed this platform to connect industry and institutions. What are platforms we actually need to connect? We want you to get ready for the industry while you're in the institute itself. You are thoroughly going through your curriculums, but there are a lot of real-time experiences, case studies, live projects, courses maybe, and that has to be enrolled into your internships, otherwise recruitments. That's what we are here to bring out through your BRATS. My name is Suresh Kumar Purapati and I'm the captain for BRATS. We already have about 1,000 plus students associated with us and a lot of students actually helping us to grow within the campuses, being our campus ambassadors. That's what we look forward to, and I welcome you all, and let's grow together. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
I feel so honored and grateful to be given this chance to introduce our speaker for today's evening, Mr. Prasad Salunke. Mr. Prasad started his career with Kotak Mahindra Primus and has more than 24 years of experience in functions of automobile industry, retail assets, banking, and NBFC. Our speaker has expertise in business development, corporate and channel sales, branch cross-selling, large team management delivering the best results. Mr. Prasad was awarded with AAP Excellence Award 2018 in Senior Leader category. Mercedes-Benz Financial S&M team is award-winning team and won Best Entrepreneur Skills Award in AAP region 2 times in last 5 years. Currently, Mr. Prasad is National Head in Sales and Marketing and member of the Board of the Management at Mercedes-Benz Financial Services USA. Mr. Prasad has also worked closely with rural dealers and branches to develop rural markets and to achieve priority sector lending targets to satisfy regulatory norms. I welcome you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you, Priyanshi, Suresh, and team Priyanshi and Urvi. Everyone, a big thank you. And I will say, what a day to start. The festive season is starting today. It's the first day of Navratri. So, wish you all happy Navratri. And before I begin, I would like to say, trust everyone at your end is fine. You and your loved ones are safe and healthy. and definitely challenging times. And I'm sure you all are taking care. It's a very bright period which is starting now. We are getting into festival season, which I call high voltage zone. Everything is really upbeat. The mood is changing. The overall atmosphere is very very cheerful. While I say that, there are a lot of challenges created by COVID-19 pandemic, but I think it's looking brighter. Yeah. And every crisis, there is a saying in English. Yeah. Dark cloud always has a silver lining. And I'm sure there is something good waiting for all of us after whatever challenges we are going through. It's my privilege and I will say honor to be here online. I do not know. It's a mix of institutes. I've been talking to a lot of institutes and sharing my experience. I am not an expert speaker, but what I can do is I can share my experience. Yeah, and I love doing that. I think experience sharing definitely sharpens my edges, but also helps people to gather experience, which I actually invested 24 years to get that experience. And I think I'm also standing in front of one of the finest talent in the world. Suresh said that a lot of 4 lakh plus students go abroad, but that's for studies. Yeah, we are very good in maths and science, overall engineering. I think Indian talent is the best talent. I've been working with a lot of international um, markets. I've interacted with a lot of international people, but I can tell you, Indian talent is really very, very unique. Currently, all top companies are led by Indian talent, and I'm proud of that. Yeah, there was a very interesting news at some point of time. Indian leadership mafia. Yeah, we lead all top companies, and we all are proud of it. I think what we definitely need to do is we have to be holistic in our approach. If we want to win, it's not only studies. If we want to win, it's not only the knowledge, but it's the wholesome package. Yeah, I'm not losing my track of the topic, but as we are here and we are talking about Indian talent, it's important that we know this. Yeah, and how do we build that wholesome package is also very important, and it takes a lot of efforts. But good news is there are a lot of people who proved it can be done. It's not impossible, and that's where we are. And coming back to subject, Priyanshi, can we go to the first slide? We can start from there. Thanks.
Also, is my screen visible?
Yeah, thank you. I can see the screen. Thank you very much. Thanks for creating this artwork. Yeah, I think definitely coronavirus is currently disrupting our daily lives. It's also turned our whole world upside down. We have no playbook to really handle this. We don't know how to handle this. But I think in last 6 8 months, whatever happened February onwards, the whole world has handled it so well, and kudos to each one of us, everyone here, and Indian government officials. I think this is really handled well. While I say that it's very challenging situation, good news is economy, and I'm sure you are reading Economic Times and all the newspaper. They talk about one thing. It's a V-shaped recovery. Yeah, automotive companies are coming back. A lot of good news, and that also means that we have some green shoots ahead of us, and we will experience good times. So Priyanshi, let's go to the next slide. And before I go there, I want to tell the whole audience that I told Suresh that I'm keeping it very, very light. Yeah, I do not want to talk about fintech and the technology and give really a heavy download today. Idea is we talk, you understand from a framework point of view where we as a country we are going and how fintech is developing. And if you think that it's too high level, please ask me deeper questions. I'll be very happy to take it. But the idea is, if I talk too much on technicality, a lot of people will not, feel very, very interested in such a short time to talk about such a very big, big umbrella topic. Yeah, it's a very big topic. People can talk about fintech for months, and what we have today is a very short slot. But again, it's pleasure to connect with you. what you see on slide is, uh, you know, definitely it's a new normal for us. People pre-digital also were digital. Work from home is not new for me, and I'm sure many of us had online classes. I was working from home 10, 12 years back already, especially when I joined Mercedes-Benz Financial. We were already having work from home concept. But one thing I have to tell you, old horses also learn new tricks in this zone. A lot of people are forced to adopt. A lot of people enjoyed adopting it. I think we all adopted digital. And I can tell you, a couple of days back there was a very interesting news where Santosh Iyer, Director Sales and Marketing, he was in newspaper where he said it's not only essential but even luxury cars people are buying online, and we have seen a huge traction since then. And some of the assumptions which were there a decade back or even a year back did not hold the water. Yeah, the assumptions, the premise looks so different. And if you have to take one of the simplest example, which is very complicated for many people now, some of the people open a lot of physical stores, some people open restaurant, some people open something, and what happened? Next day you have pandemic, and then everything is turning to online. So what you assume, is not holding water anymore. And why are we discussing this? I think the new normal has a lot to do with where we are going technologically. Also, fintech topic is part of it. I think we have to continue with our business and we have to continue with our lives. And what do we do for that? And I think that's where the digital transformation kicks in. Change in technology is very, very exponential. It's every day and it's every hour. Yeah, India is a very big hub when it comes to information technology, but also for fintech, financial technology, and that's where there is a lot of traction. Highest fintechs we see now in India. A lot of unicorns are emerging from India. And when it comes to digital solutions, where do we start? Yeah, we started with creating virtual communities in pandemic, and we also tried to find some digital solutions to ensure we are virtually connected, right? And that's where we are. So it's a new normal. Welcome to the new world, new order of the world. Yeah, Priyanshi, can we go to the next slide, please? And digital transformation, especially, everything is changing. There is disruption. I work for Daimler Group, and Daimler Group really 5-7 years back they started talking about VUCA world. VUCA is a term coined by one of the military top notch in US, and it's very common now. Everyone knows, and I'm sure even in audience everyone knows what I'm talking about. But I think the real VUCA world we are experiencing is now, because VUCA is on steroid. It's really, really volatile. Yeah, it's very, very uncertain, complex, ambiguous. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, and that also means that there are many opportunities for us. And a person like me, I love uncertainty and I love disruption. I don't need to have this confirmed atmosphere around. Uncertain is fun, yeah. And the business across the world is restructuring operations, tearing down traditional ways of doing business. And it's a complete business transformation. It's not only digital transformation. There is a huge difference in business transformation. There is and digital transformation. It's not that we are automating the processes. It is not only that we are applying digital, but we are changing the way we do business. We are rethinking, and we are rethinking everything. What we are doing is a business which stands here for decades, for the centuries. There is a way to do business. Yeah, there is a particular way we handle our lives and business. That's changing. That means we're losing our comfort levels, and uh, especially digital transformation in India is changing everything. But is it a new phenomenon? No. Digital India and the India tech stack is a very big story. It's a big success story. Digital India was conceived 5 years ago as a way to push countries' digital transformation forward and empower citizens in the process. So government created so many technology platforms that are enabling India's fintech story. And I can tell you, it is really as easy as just clicking something to create a fintech platform. And thanks to Indian government, the vision, there is a lot which has gone in. The base of these efforts has been government's emphasis on developing infrastructure to enable affordable internet connections, access for all, and for every Indian to possess a digital identity. Today, 99% of Indian adults have enrolled in Aadhaar, and Aadhaar card is the base, especially when it comes to financial technology and the fintech which we'll be looking at. And there are some slides coming up. I'm going to take you through a lot of stuff. I want and I will request all of you to focus on what I'm saying. Uh, I'm saying something. This narrative is very, very powerful because I'm explaining the whole crux of financial technology and the fintech topic in India. Why fintech? Why are we doing this? What do we want to achieve? How government is contributing? And you all see now, we all use Google Pay. You go to a sabji wala, you go to a kirana shop, we see Google Pay, smallest of the shops. I think small vendors on the street vendors. So what happened? Yeah, a significant rise in digital payment since demonetization is also experienced, and it's not new. It's not because of COVID. It's not because something is changing today. It was in pipeline since long. Yeah, it's just that people are adopting it faster now. There were a lot of fence sitters. It's very interesting. Yeah, yesterday I visited Airtel Gallery. I wanted to take a couple of connections, and there was an old retired couple sitting there, and the guy is trying to sell them why they should pay through UPI, and they were saying no, 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 we don't have control on this fraud, and at least if the fraud happens in online banking, we can go back to bank. How do I talk to Google or Paytm? And I was sitting there. After 15 minutes, I heard the conversation. I tried to help the old couple, saying, how does it work? Why it's safer? Of course, how frauds happen. Yeah. But it's interesting. Yeah. The whole India, 130 crore population is adopting the new ways of life. And even pre-COVID-19, we adopted it so well. Yeah. We had Flipkart and other e-commerce. It's not new for us. We were adopting it, but it just got accelerated. And forced adoption of digital also happened to those people who were not ready. Now, I want to tell you something very, very important. Yeah, just focus on what I'm telling you. And I had a difficulty to convert my 100 pages report in one page to tell you in 30 minutes that why fintech, what are we doing, what Indian government is doing. So I made some notes, yeah, key points saying what should I tell today to students where they go home with a message saying what fintech is doing. And with the government of India and regulator pushing for improved digital finance infrastructure, digital lending has provided a very strong impetus to financial inclusion. And the new lending platforms are transforming credit evaluation and loan origination. So you all know that to get loan, you have to apply. Yeah. So the loan has to be originated by the financial institute. So how do we do it today? Even today, and I can tell you, I've been talking about digital lending, fintech, not today. It's been 3-4 years or more than that. I think if you look at the real story, and I will say you go and apply a loan tomorrow, there are many financial institutes who are still adopting it, and there are many who have already adopted. The new age technology companies, there are companies who will give you loan at a blink of your eye, or just give your biometrics, thumb or retina, and then you get the loan. Yeah, but then there are many institutes who are still on the traditional side. Good news is all are trying to adapt. Yeah, but the new lending platforms are transforming two things in a larger way. What are these two things? How the loan is originated. कहाँ से आता है? Loan application कहाँ से आता है? So today, and I actually tried, yeah, pre-pandemic, I wanted to test the process. So I went to a bank and I said, listen, I want to take the loan. So I signed the form, physical form. They asked me documents, and with my busy schedules, just to give my 4 documents, it took 15 days. Now, is it a bank's problem? No. Is it my problem? Maybe yes, but it's not my problem. It's a practical situation that customers don't have time to go do documentation, provide all the documents, and for that you run from pillar to post. Not possible. Yeah, the lifestyles have changed, but the processes have not changed. And that's where all the financial institute banks are working towards. First topic is how to originate the loan. How many documents I should ask from customer? Do I need 100 pages bank statement, your address proof, salary proof, or let's say business income tax returns, so on and so forth? There's so many documents. Do we want that? Or something can be done digitally, something can be done by using technology. Yeah. Second piece is once the application is in, how do you evaluate that customer on the credit? What is the uh, credibility of that customer? And that credit evaluation is also manual today. So the file goes, let's say there is 100 200 pages file, there is a human who, a person, the staff of the bank who's going through file. So that also is heavily worked upon by financial institutes. And you must know that when you talk about fintech, it's a large umbrella, but these two pillars are very, very important. And after that, of course, there is another pillar which talks about, let's say, if you have to take loan today, you go and sign 80, 100 times in loan agreement. It's very cumbersome for a customer. There is a physical movement involved. People are traveling to customer or customer is traveling to bank. So that piece is also now coming on the block, where there is a e-contracting. A stamp paper lagta hai as India as a country mein. So you have to go and buy a stamp paper. That's also converted now to e-stamping. So a lot of things are changing, right? And the biggest pieces are loan origination, credit evaluation, and post the loan is approved, how the process is handled. Now, many emerging innovations leverage advanced algorithm. So, there are AI firms, big data firms who are basically rethinking of how to give loan itself. Yeah, how they're building algorithms around, customers' credit underwriting, that and the computing power to automate the activities that are highly manual today. I will give you one simple example. Today, for giving loan in banking, you always ask for 6 months bank statement. Now, what happens? If I do 10 transaction every day, and if you ask me 6 months banking, you will have such a big file coming. Now the credit guy and the poor credit manager has to go through all pages to see how are my banking habits, am I bouncing EMIs, or the payments coming to me are bounced, or how the balance maintenance, are they healthy, are there continuous flow of income? Why do they look at banking now? That by using technology of OCR, computing power, there are bank statement analyzers which are also part of financial lending, or let's say tech platforms, right? And as the advanced algorithms and computing power to automate activities that are highly manual today, are allowing them to offer a cheaper, faster, and more scalable alternative financial products and services. So you don't need these 15 days of submitting documents, then the bank will take time. It's all at a click. And the major business opportunities in fintech lending, apart from whatever we know in fintech industry, are POS-based lending. Now, what is POS-based lending? Point of sale. So let's take a very simple example of daily life. I go to Amazon. I just bought something. In fact, before the webinar started, I wanted to buy uh, a Wi-Fi extender, and I had only 1 minute. Now I'm counting my time. Yeah, every 1 minute matters. And Suresh knows this. He has seen, how we live on the edge, and I'm sure a lot of people here on the line are also equally busy. Now, if I'm buying that, and I want, imagine for a minute, I want loan for that, and if there is a fintech which is embedded in Amazon, and there are, yeah, it's not nothing new. I'm not talking about rocket science. Then on the fly, in that 30 seconds, if you're able to give me loan, it's POS based. POS based can be also physical, not only online. Let's say you go to a shop and you buy, let's say, a computer, and you just put your name and number, and there is a fintech company who gives you loan basis only your name and number. Interesting, right? So that's amazing. And this POS-based industry is emerging very fast. Another is P2P lending, yeah, peer-to-peer lending. And then third one is microcredit. There are of course many areas like payment gateways, payment banks, and other things. But I think to start with, you start taking interest in these cost-based lending, P2P lending, microcredit, and you have to be proud. Yeah, India has a very unique fintech lending ecosystem. And why is that? It is due to the nature of its market and regulatory approach. So I'm going to talk about it in some of the next slides. I'm not going to stay here. But I thought before I start taking you through some slides, there is nothing in slides. Yeah. I am going to tell you the story, and you need to know what is fintech. Yeah. What exactly is happening. And that's the reason you get speakers. And hence, I want to tell you one more important fact is fintech has a lot to do also with financial inclusion. India was at some point of time, and not very far, just a couple of years back, was highly underbanked country. And there are not many places. So there are many places where formal loan is available, but there are many places where only informal ways of borrowing money are there, or you don't have bank accounts. You know this story, you must be reading in the newspaper. So I think Indian government have been putting a lot of efforts to penetrate banking and also financial services, and hence I have to tell you that the Indian fintech has a lot to do with uh, financial inclusion. It's a very big topic. I worked with HDFC Bank for 10 years, and I was handling parts of it, and then I know why it's important. I've traveled to a place from my suited booted approach in Mumbai in AC offices to a village which falls under financial inclusion, where the population is below 30,000. I stood on the road to just count how many cars and two-wheelers are going in 1 hour. That's the way we could really gauge, how is the activity in that particular village. And this is what all of us do when we do market studies. Yeah, apart from all the formal reports, informal ways also of understanding the local nuances. I can tell you financial inclusion is the most important topic, and fintech has a big role over there. And I'm going to share a very important fact with you. Research shows that countries with deeper levels of financial inclusion have a stronger GDP growth rates and lower income inequality. And by making financial services accessible easily, anything you make easily accessible is consumed faster, right? And it's important that financial services is also easily available to everyone. Don't think from a big cities or tier 2 cities or tier 3 cities. There is a world beyond that. And hence it's important that we make financial services accessible to all type of customers, irrespective of their financial status, social strata, background. And then through fintech we can achieve financial inclusion, and that has a huge impact on our GDP. And this is what I wanted to share with you. This is where we stand. Yeah. Priyanshi, can you please go to the next slide? And so a little bit lighter than using heavy technology words. Yeah, what do you see if you say, oh, technology is new? No, technology was always there in some shape or some size. It was always available. Typewriter was a technology. Who said it was not a technology, right? We saw computers, we saw telephones, then of course we saw desktops, then we saw everything. Yeah, today we have digital signatures. So financial firms have been always using technology, but it was not enough. Yeah, it was not enough, and taking it to next level remained only as aspiration. Yeah, so let's move on to the next slide to see how does it look. I think if you see this slide, and it's not important that you read everything. I think it's important that when ATMs were invented, the innovation was very important at that point of time. Yeah, but today it's just part of your life. So where are we going? And then something changed over the period of time, and that's what we are going to see in the next slide. So Priyanshi, kindly go to the next slide, please. So what happened in 2008? There was financial crisis. Now, what does it has to do with technology? Now, with these crises, and I will say go and study what happened in 2008. If you have already studied respect, I think it's very important. Yeah, with the crisis, a lot of innovation started kicking in. What was the reason? So there was a lack of trust in financial institutions with what happened there. Yeah, compliance was under scanner, and then the costs were under pressure because the top line shrinked. Yeah, regulations kicked in. Regulators started looking into banks deeper. So regulations, trust, compliance, and losses incurred by banks forced banks to accelerate digitization. So that was one very big leap after whatever innovations were done in the past, including ATM. 2008 was a very big leap. But the reason for that was trust. And the trust drove the digitization. Now, this is another phase, yeah? So let's go to the next slide. What happened now? In today's world, something changed again, yeah? So fintech is a financial technology. And then we all know there is something called techfin. What is that? Yeah. Why lenders need new age digital transformation technology for financing proposal? And lenders are facing more competition than ever. Yeah. From e-commerce giants to rideshare applications, mobility applications, or investment banking. Applying for loan is as easy as just blinking your eye. And if you know these big tech firms, Alibaba has and financial services in China. Google is also into it. Facebook has financial services. WhatsApp is coming up into lending, of course, part of Facebook, right? So there are two ways to look at it. Either the existing financial institutes are adopting technology and hence it's called fintech, or the technology companies are saying because we are a tech company, we can do anything. We can literally do anything. We can make phones, we can sell goods online, but we can also finance. Just imagine the power. And the banks were heavily relying on their data. Banks always said, I have data in crores, I have these many customers, and they are my retention strategies, this, and I have very close relationship. Now, what happened is consumer behavior also changed, and consumers are looking for more efficiency, ease, lower entry barriers. Here is the new good news. All these new companies, they are now able to finance through their technology. So how many of you know that there is a company buy Xiaomi mobile phone, MI Finance? I'm sure you must have read this news in the newspaper when then, right? And
Yes, sir.
yeah, Gopi, you want to say something?
Yes, sir. About it, sir.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
So the tech companies are coming into finance. So there are two parts. It's fintech and techfin. Yeah, and all this also coincided with the launch of smartphones and iPhones. So the world changed towards 2007 onwards, and that's where another leap on the technology is taken after the global crisis. What we saw in the previous slide. Let's go to the next slide, please. We discussed this, right? What is fintech? Fintech is there is a financial institute and they adopt technology, improve their processes, and that's how customer journeys change. CX, CI, UI, UX, everything is changed. So let's go to the next slide. And then we discuss about TechFin, right? They are the people who adopt financial services as a new business column, but they are a tech company. So Baidu in China, Tencent, right? Let's go to the next slide, please, Priyanshi. I'm not going to spend time here. This data is publicly available. Idea is not to give you GAN, but let's look at what is the digital landscape in India, how many internet users, how internet penetration is changing. This all complements to all the changes we are going. Priyanshi, let's move on to the next slide. So this is, you see, I got this slide from a company called the Digital Fifth. Why did I get this here? If you look at center of the slide, there are new age card companies. Then there are P2P companies. Then there are companies who are into financial inclusion. If you look at the right hand side of the slide, there are core platforms which provide credit platforms, analytics, and collections, which can be done digitally. On the left hand side of the slide, you have data providers who help you in banking data, credit enhancement, credit evaluation, alternate credit platforms, how to identify a customer, bureaus. On top of that, you will see loan marketplaces, right? Paisa Bazaar, Apna Paisa, checkbook.com. And that's the story, yeah? And who are the investors? And this is where I'm saying what banks are doing. Banks are also not just sitting and looking at it. They're adopting it very fast. And good news is today's world is in a world of collaboration. So these fintechs needs banks, but banks needs fintech. And that's where they're working together. Blockchain, cryptocurrency, mobile payments. These are the outside traditional banking topics, yeah? Let's go to the next slide. And this is a very important slide. If I'm a student on the other side, yeah, this sounds like everybody's talking about it, but it's the reality, and it's really very intense. That the jobs are changing. And my one message to the whole round here, whoever is on the line, is what kind of skills we are adopting. Are we adopting to the skills which will be required in future, or we just going through a what you call standard traditional framework of studies? And I can compliment all the universities, colleges, management institutes, that they're also changing, adopting to the new ways. And I will say you need to be really on top of what's required, and maybe tomorrow jobs will disappear. For job as a concept may not exist. You will be valued only for the skills what you have, and hence we should not be depending too much of job types, but you should be depending on yourself, saying, hey, what skills I have, what do I bring on the table, why am I special, what special skills I bring on the table, how I change myself with the time. Let's go to the next slide, please, Priyansh. And artificial intelligence, I don't think we need to really talk about what it is. I've been lucky to work with AI specialists in industry, either in insurance or also in lending, and it's all about forecasting, predictive analytics, and how the trends will be in the future. And this is all existing in the big data, and that's where we are. And I think the success ratio is also very good. So if you look at the example here, prediction success rate is 83%. It's not bad, yeah. And that's where we'll have to think what are the skills required tomorrow if I have to be in banking industry, if I have to be in lending. And I will challenge each one of you to think, do you have that one idea which will change something, not for yourself, but for some customers, for banking industry, for the universe of lending? Can you change something? Go for it. You need to think, really rethink everything. Next slide, please. And fintech, I think, is so common now that we will have to now accept the fact that it's just going to be part of your life, like how ATM is. And we are at that stage now. Yeah. Of course, India is a very big hub for fintech, but this opportunity we might not see again. Yeah. Next slide, please. What do you think? Yeah. What banks will do when the world is changing? And I can tell you, yeah, I've worked with banking for a long, and they will adopt. Banks will not perish. Yeah. So traditional banking also is changing. I'm not saying it will change. It's already changing. I'm experiencing that. They are already working on business transformation. 360-degree change on how the banking happens. Priyanshi, next slide, please. This is my favorite slide, yeah? And I'm from car industry. So how digitization and digital tools are going to help not only car sales process, but also financing car online. And there are various wheels, cogwheels, what you see here. I think we all need to think of one thing. We need to think of customer journey. CJ is, the password today in the industry. UI, UX, CX, customer experience, customer interface, all these things I'm sure you're learning already. But this is my favorite slide, yeah? Uh, and that's where you need to understand how you will define customer journey for your products and how you'll digitize it. Next slide, please. I was talking about collaboration, yeah, and how banks are collaborating and how banks are taking huge interest in fintech players and how there is a synergy. That's all I want to say, yeah. Next slide, please. And consumers around the globe are going through a new experience. We all experience Amazon. If you want to buy something, why we will go for lending through traditional methods? So we have to identify gaps, and we have to take a feed gap approach, saying if there is a white spot, how we can fill it up. How do we bring ease of using the products? How do we take the barriers lower or maybe remove the barriers, yeah? And how we make it easy for customer, because it's customer who is in the driver's seat. Next slide, please. um, this is what I was explaining to you at the beginning, saying, okay, what are the key factors when it comes to paperless lending? I think its first place is application, and after that, identification of customer, and electronic signatures. Uh, all those kick in. Good news is, with the government's approach on building a very strong digital financial environment in the country, this is all API driven. So you have connections to government servers, and I will stop asking you income tax returns today, because I can bring your income tax returns with your digital authorization from the government server. So this is very important, yeah. I can bring you a bank statement. I can provide you a link when you are on my platform online, where you can go and fetch your bank account, and the bank analyzer will make it convert it to one page. So there are a lot of technologies. There is alternate data. I can go and bring your utility bills, your provident fund statement. So there is a lot which is getting built, and it's all API driven. So even you guys can build this. Yeah. Next slide, please. How many of you have opened account? There was news SBI opened record number of accounts through video KYC, and all the banks followed this, including smaller banks, PSU banks, big banks, private banks, and that's where I'm not going to spend a lot of time and take your energy on explaining this whole technology. But identification of customer topic is resolved. Good news. It's all done through video. Next slide, please. E-stamping is changing. Government needs stamp duty, and every time I have to go and pay physically, stand at the government office's window, buy stamp paper, all gone, all gone. And now you can do e-stamping. This is at the beginning I said, so we'll not spend much time here. Next slide, please, Priyanshi. Electronic signature. I am signing a lot of agreements through various vendors like Signdesk, Verify, and there are many more companies who are into this, where you need to sign some agreement. I'm going to drive it through OTP based, so I can do it OTP based, right? And it's all driven by Aadhaar card also. So The whole thing has changed, and digital signature is no more a rocket science. It's just part of your everything, every day, what you do in life. Next slide, please. E-mandate, you need to give banker authorization to debit your bank account for recovery of monthly equated monthly installments. Your installment is recovered from your account from the by the bank for you taking loans, and that today is all physical. So I'm filling up a form, I'm signing, it goes to NPCI, and then it's all verified by your banker and the bank who's giving you loan. They're talking to each other, and then I can tell you there are huge issues. Yeah, signatures not matching, it's all getting rejected. This net banking driven e-mandate has solved all these problems. So customer doesn't need to sign a lot of documents, and this mandate is um, all driven through tech platform. Okay, next slide, please, Priyanshi. I think we spoke about this. We should skip this. Let's go to the next slide. If it is too heavy, just raise your hand saying, there is a lot of download. Um, so I was talking about reskilling, how the reskilling needs to be done. I think this slide talks about the whole reskilling topic. There are huge changes are expected already, and that's where we'll have to go adopt all the new knowledge to build your career in future. Next slide, please. As we talk about fintech, here it is. Yeah, the finance students must now be tech students too. The technology is part of everything what you do. Yeah. Uh, let's Priyanshi move on to the next slide. I think I'm towards end of my presentation. Uh, I will say please think through how you would like to position yourself if you're thinking of career progress, how to build your career, and I'm going to give you summary of this. That's very important according to me. I think we need to embrace the wave. It's very clear. Things will not go back exactly where they were. So if you think that everything is over and life is back to where it was, yes, life will be back to normalcy. But the things in life, the way we do, will not go back exactly where they were. And remember, the next wave of disruption is around the corner. So you need to anticipate. Yeah. Priyanshi, can we go to the next slide? Yeah, I think couple of messages from my side. Embrace the wave of uncertainty. That's important, and that is the new order of the world. A good surfer knows where they are, and they have to be anticipating the next wave. And this is how humans will have to think. Uh, when it comes to leadership, as I said, if you want to be successful in your career, it's a wholesome package. Yeah, and value-driven leadership will be the next thing. Yeah, it's not only achievement based. What are your values? Integrity, yeah, respect, collaborative approach. All these things will help you to grow your career. I think in career, it's not only the education or what you can do in the office, or whether you can do coding, you can make apps, you are AI specialist. I think leadership is the biggest component. We all are leaders in some capacity somewhere. You are a leader in your friends group. You are a leader without title in your office. Many a times, there are pseudo leaders. I can tell you a stupid example, yeah, or maybe a real time example. Let's take a real time example. Let's think through, yeah. Okay, let's take one example. A rickshawala. Is rickshawala leader or no? He is. Rickshawala is a leader to his family, yeah. And this is my good example of leadership is not about titles, and that's the biggest component of success, right? And along with the performance, what you do at your office place, it's important that you are being mindful. Being mindful matters. Empathy, and I think EQ are more important than IQ. So that's the message from my side. Suresh, Priyanshi, Urvi, that's all from my side. It's not really a long presentation. It's Navratri, and I don't want to take more time, but it's open for questions and answers.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a very interactive session. We have one question from Mata Prasad. It's how safe P2P lending has been in India.
So P2P lending, RBI is regulating it. It's governed very closely. As far as my knowledge goes, we have not seen any challenges over there. In fact, I know a couple of P2P platforms like Finzi, Liqui Loans. They are doing wonderful job. Yeah. So it's safe. It's working well.
I hope this answers your question. Do we have some more questions from Zoom audience or the YouTube audience? You can raise your hands one by one. Yes, Shubham.
A very good evening, sir. It has been really great to know how banking system has been changing so drastically. I mean, we couldn't have anticipated this change until COVID, because I'm sure with earlier this we had been adopting traditional banking mode, making it easy for all the customers. So,
Right.
sir, when this COVID took place, and we all have been thinking about the ways how to make it easy for the customers for in the banking institute, I had been thinking how long we can think that it would take to totally get online for all the banking processes, because there is still a few of the processes that we can't take online. It could be
I can
collection of
only tell
documents.
you
Yeah.
one thing. Yeah. I think it's difficult to talk on behalf of all the banks, right? There are thousands of banks. But in general, it's at a very accelerated speed or it's in accelerated mode. So I will not be surprised that in next 6 months, 99% things on lending or banking are online. I will not be surprised because a lot of banks have been putting huge efforts on this, and we will see results in coming months. Thank you. Any more questions? Please feel free to ask.
We have one more question from Abhishek. The question is, sir, can you throw some light on how much will be artificial intelligence important in coming future in finance sector?
So I think it's a very good question because artificial intelligence is used. It's not that it's a new thing, but the dependency on artificial intelligence is definitely not 100%. And I think we're going there. The fact is, and I'm from old school of lending. I've spent 24 years. I come from that era of black and white, then into color, now into AI. I can tell you that we will take help of AI, but then the human touch will remain. People are building credit engines, people are building AI predictive modules, all fine. But the credit managers' experience and understanding about evaluating customers' credibility will also play a major role.
Thank you, sir. I can see Gopi raising his hands. Gopi, please continue.
Sir, good evening, sir. So, I would like to ask you a question, sir. So, like I see that banking transaction online has been increased a lot from GeoFX, sir, after giving Geo SIM. Okay, because internet was available to many of them. And then I noticed a certain trend that cybersecurity issues were increasing with the usage of increased, online transactions. So, like, what do you think about it? That's a threat to a banking sector, right?
So I think banking sector is really doing good job. If you talk to a banker, you will see how many attacks are happening on the firewall on a daily basis. So I visited a cooperative bank recently, and I met the managing director of the company, and I was surprised to see. She said, "Prasad, I personally track how many cyber attacks are happening on our firewall on a daily basis. So banks are tracking it closely. We all know that hackers are one step ahead, but I can tell you, banking sector is doing so well on keeping all these challenges at bay. They are making sandboxes, and the attacks are pushed to sandboxes. So I think, see, this challenge will remain. Yeah, you will have hackers, you will have someone attacking, but it's not going to impact. Banking sector is evolving every day.
Sir, like I'm not saying how banking controls it, sir. I'm saying that there's no proper awareness about the banking services to people, no, sir. So I'm saying the issue is there. I'm not talking about the cybersecurity being done on
Sorry,
banks.
maybe Gopi, I'm not able to get your question.
Okay.
My apologies. Yeah. What is the question?
Sir, no, sir. Like I said, because of geo effect, internet usage has been increased, and due to that,
Because of what
on
effect? What effect?
geo effect, like Geo SIM was given to everyone for
Okay.
free, no, sir. So
Yeah.
that was the time when online transactions started to increase. So, and after that, I noticed a trend that cyber security issues, okay, were done to online transactions.
Yeah.
Okay, not like targeting the banks; they were targeting people. So I'm talking about
Oh, that.
like
Okay. Okay. Yeah. No, I think it's also issue of awareness. Yeah. That's very clear. Any other question?
Yes, sir. I can see Pooja raising her hand. Yes, Pooja. Pooja, do you have any question to ask?
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah. Yeah. Pooja, go ahead.
Good evening, sir. I'm just having a question that as we know that as the banks are adapting this online facility things, so isn't it a challenge for the customers who are not aware of all these facilities? Like everyone is not so much flexible enough to use this facility. So how banks are going to cooperate with this kind of customers, and how long is will it take to educate them and so?
So I think we will have to evolve definitely for those customers who are not comfortable with technology, or let's say there is no access to technology. We have traditional banking which is available. There are branches, and definitely we have a big task here from a inclusion point of view. How do we include the whole geography, the whole overall population? Yeah, and this challenge remains, but Reserve Bank of India, the whole banking framework, banking industry, as well as Indian government is working very closely on the same.
So as you said that it's going to take 6 months almost for 99% of the banks. So I think that 6 months, I think that the banks will require more time to adapt this facilities and changes.
So what, you mean to say the customers will take time or banks will take time? I'm not getting it.
I
What
guess I guess if the customers will take time, then it means that the banks are also going to take time indirectly.
See, I think banks are ready with technology, and good news is banks are also ready to provide physical infrastructure. There are customers who can go and access the banks, yeah, and especially at the hub, spoke, and satellite locations. I worked with bank very closely, handled a lot of locations. There was a time I was looking into 250, 300 locations. That also means that the banks are available in smallest of the places, which we call satellite, right? Of course, hinterlands are not yet covered, but then the PSU bank network is very, very strong over there. Things will change. Yeah, we have evolved. We have taken two big jumps. I think the third jump we will hop, skip, and go to fourth one. Yeah, let's see how it develops.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Pooja. Thank you so much, sir. Do we have some more questions?
I will say, Priyanshi, if there are any questions, please gather them. People can write. Sometimes people don't ask questions in the forum. You have my email address. I'll be happy, consolidate all the questions, and I'll be happy to answer those questions. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, I guess we have taken all the questions. I would like to thank you, sir, for being here with us. Also, we got to learn a lot many insights from you. I would also like to thank our audience, both on Zoom as well as on YouTube, for being here with us today. Before winding up the session, I would request the Zoom audience to please turn on their cameras so that we can capture the moment.
Till the time people are turning their cameras on, thank you so much, Prasad sir, for being with us
Pleasure and honor.
and enlightening us in terms of how the digital transformation is happening, and it is happening at a rapid pace, which probably none of us have imagined. So thank you for throwing some light
Thank you.
and some insights to all the students who is now probably thinking to take up fintech as their option, or as in career option. So thank you, sir. Guys, can we have this thing quickly so that Prasad sir can leave and for
Take your
other
time.
appointments? Yes.
But till the time people are opening their cameras, I think it's a great honor to be here. Thank you for listening to me. I hope I could give you some good insights on fintech and banking and what's happening. If you have more questions, feel free to contact me. I'm available on LinkedIn. Suresh has all my coordinates. You can collect all questions and send it to me. It's great to talk to you on a Navratri day. I will say happy Navratri once again and wish you all well in future. And I'm sure you will keep India flag very high internationally. All the best. Suresh, thank you once again. You are a big motivator and inspiration, and the amount of activities you do, I have huge respect for you and your team. Urvi, thanks. Priyanshi, thank you very much. Could you capture the moment?
Yes, it's done.
Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Happy
Thank you.
Navratri to you as
Happy
well.
Navratri.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Bye.
much, sir.
Yes.
Bye.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.